Welcome to the Jeremiah Show. After getting her start playing for change in the subways and the streets of Cambridge, Massachusetts, Jennifer Tefft, my special guest today, met guitarist John Parrillo. What followed was a seemingly perfect pairing of two very talented and creative musicians. And the following years were highly prolific for both of them. Songwriting and playing together bore the fruit of five highly acclaimed albums that were released on Jennifer's label, Gypsy Spin Music. All five releases have been received with such critical acclaim, such as the New England Music Award nomination for the Best in State 2019, and a nomination for the prestigious Boston Music Awards for Best Female Vocalist, a Boston's Best Unsigned Band nod by the local press, and her album Shift was awarded Best Alternative Album by the Just Plain Folks Association here in Hollywood, California. She has 12 My FM Local Music Award nominations and 4 local music awards. Jennifer Teff's compositions have been heard across international television on Cruel Summer, CSI, Stargate Universe, One Life to Live, and my favorite, The Young and the Restless. Back in the day, I used to watch that after school with my grandma. Jennifer Tefft and John Parrillo are here with me today, along with their new bandmates, The Strange, to talk about their sixth upcoming studio album, Strange Beginnings. I sense a theme here. They're going to play some tracks with us, and we're going to premiere on the Jeremiah Show the first release track from the new album, Strange Beginnings, Caffeine. Okay, welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. I also wanted to mention we've got almost the entire band here today. Who's missing?
We're missing our drummer.
Loading his
Chris.
seats.
Okay, we got Jennifer Tefft here. We've got
Hey.
John Parrillo. Hey.
Hey.
And Stephen Sharky Beccia.
You got it.
Did I do it? How did I do, Stephen?
You got it right. You got it right.
I got it right. That's great. If you listen to the show, I normally don't get it right. So with pronunciation, it's not my strong suit. So I'm so happy I did. Hey guys, I'm so happy to have you here. You're on the East Coast. You're outside of Boston. Are you all in the same area, or do you come to me from different spots?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within an hour of each other.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes it easier, I guess, to meet in the middle somewhere and for a gig.
Yep.
So Jennifer, I think this is really fascinating. I don't know if I've ever talked to anybody that has been a street performer first that started out there, but it feels to me like it would take a lot of faith and hope, and I mean you probably earn your stripes out there on the street, I would imagine. Not a lot of personal reward.
Pretty quickly. I mean, I was absolutely terrified the first time I did it, so much so that I set up, and most people set up right at the bottom of the stairs when people walk down, because of course that's where people are going to see you. But I went all the way back to the back wall right before where the train goes into the tunnel and set up there where like basically nobody could find me. And like I was being heckled by the train drivers as they're yelling out the window going, "What the heck are you doing? No one's gonna see you." So I eventually got brave enough to move closer to the stairs.
So yeah, so that's funny. I think I would do that too. I'd probably hide after the first performance. Um, but what did that do for you as a performer? Those early years like that. How long did you do that for?
I think I did it for a full winter, and then a whole, then I moved above ground in the good weather into Harvard Square, which is a great, marketplace sort of place right in the middle of Cambridge. It was really good for me because I didn't know that many songs, and your audience rotates every few minutes when you're playing on the subway platform, so you really don't need to know a lot of songs. So it gave me a chance to take my very small repertoire and kind of get out there and build up some confidence and make a little bit of money.
And did you build up confidence? Was it would you recommend it to music artists that are starting out?
I definitely think it's a great proving ground. I mean, Cambridge is a really great place to do it. There's, I mean, every subway stop you go to, you're going to see a street performer. Right? There's someone busking there. You really have
Mm-hmm.
to get up bright and early, 4 o'clock in the morning, and get there to get your spot. So, I mean, it's kind of a known entity. It's not like you're just dropping yourself in the middle of somewhere where people are going to be like, "What are you doing here?" You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of safety to it in that, it's been done before. But I highly recommend it because you learn to deal with people real quickly, hecklers,
Mm-hmm.
learn how to get someone's attention and keep their attention. Like if you can make someone miss their train, then you've won the day, you know?
So did if they miss their train? Well, yeah, I guess that would be the sign of a great artist. That if I stopped and said, "Forget work today, I'm just listening to Jennifer."
Yeah, they want to catch the rest of the song or whatever. They want to make sure they get your information or something like that, so.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. So performance-wise, you feel like it helps you now as a band that's out on touring all the time and performing that those early days helped you out.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I was definitely terrified of pretty much everything in this, about performing. So it was kind of a way to jump right into the fire without any real commitment. I could leave
Mm-hmm.
anytime I wanted. I wasn't there, for a gig. It was, if I was feeling frustrated or things weren't working right or whatever, I could just take off, so no pressure.
Yeah, pack it up and go home.
Yeah.
So, how did you meet? I know you know John from you've known John a long time since those early days. How did you meet the rest of the band members and your new band?
Oh,
It's
so besides John?
strange.
Okay, so let's see. Chris, our drummer, and I don't even know how we became f friends on Facebook, just both in the Boston music scene and mutual friends, I guess. And I was really fascinated with watching. He posts a lot of drumming videos, and you could see how incredibly talented he was. He's also an animator, so I followed a lot of his socials and stuff, and
Mm.
just always had great conversations with him, and we'd always talked about working together. And then finally, sort of the powers that be came together and it was time to finally work together. And then with Sharky, a friend of mine who's another bass player was sitting in with us while we were looking for a bass player, and he dragged Sharky sort of out of semi-retirement, right? He hadn't really been
Yeah.
playing recently, and he came and played with us. And I think after the first time we played with him, we were all like, "Yep, he's gonna stay here. If we have to lock him in the basement, we're keeping him."
Do you like a lot of your band members in the basement?
I try. They find their way out, but they try.
Find their way out.
There's a cage on the opposite side.
That's
Silence of
great.
the Lamb's Pit.
Yeah, there's a lotion. So that's so to me it feels so. Is this fair to say that the Strange is newly minted? It's a new band, really. Although you've known each other different areas, different ways throughout your career.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I don't want to be the only one talking here, so feel free,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, if you listen to past albums and you're going to hear a different chemistry, you're going to hear a different vibe. There's a different energy, with this band. I mean, I played with many drummers and guitar players, singers, and I'll tell you, the minute I get down there, I started jamming. I mean, Chris and I lock in really well, and for me as a bass player, that's important. And John's got sounds like I've never heard before, which is fantastic. And then of course there's Jennifer with amazing vocals, and she's not talking now.
She likes the compliments, I'm sure, and deserves them as well. So it seems to me that forming a band, like if I imagine doing that, it almost feels like it's got to be a very like an important relationship in your life, right? It doesn't just happen because, hey, let's all play music together. It sounds like you guys know what you needed, and I'm not sure who put that all together, or if everybody came together
um,
drawn to that core of like this is our sound and we should be a band. But it feels like a very special moment to me to form a band. It must be.
I agree.
Yeah.
Very organic. It just sort
Mm-hmm.
of came together. Like Jen and I have been together for what, 20 years or more. Oh, sorry.
we don't put numbers
20
on it.
years. We're not old.
We're like 25, so that's cool.
Yeah.
You guys have been playing forever.
but having Sharky come our way and Chris come our way, and like not only are they talented, but they're great people as well. And like we all like there's like a connection, just being together, not playing music, where we have laughs and love and good times. And I think that has really helped us develop as a band in a short period of time. That the connection that we've all had.
Mm-hmm.
Our influences are all over the place, and how we meet. And the center is it's just amazing. We're lucky.
Yeah.
I totally like we've played with, John and I played with other people, various iterations for, starting way back in the 90s, different bass players and drummers, and it's all been good in its own way. But I think this is the first time, and I really feel like everybody's just like all on the same wavelengths, and like we really do. We probably could get a lot more done, but we laughed so much during rehearsal and we have so much fun. And I really think, this is not an easy business. And if the making of the music is not fun, then the rest of it is just, it's not worth it, and this really has been one of the most enjoyable periods of music making that I've experienced in my lifetime. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I had pretty much put music on the back burner for a while. I'm also an artist, visual artist, and I just started focusing on that stuff and kind of got away. COVID came along. I'm like, I'm done playing. It's hard playing, finding the right musicians and stuff. And when I got the message from JP, it's like I went down, I checked it out. I'm like, yeah, 100%. I want to be part of this. And it was the draw was so strong. It's like, yeah, let's do this. I was really, really excited. So
is it almost like falling in love, like a real true love, which doesn't happen very often, right? In our lives, we get maybe one or two of those. If we're lucky, that are just, is it a little bit like that? Like, is it a spoken thing or is it more unspoken? Do you think where you all look at each other, go, okay, this is it. We're a band.
I think we kind of knew right away that this combination worked pretty well. And I know that like the first practice that we all had together, I went upstairs after they left and was like doing the Giddy Jen happy dance because I just was like, that felt right. And I guess, yeah, I mean, you could go on a first date and, kind of right away, whether you want to hang out with that person again or not. So I guess you could kind of call it like that. And certainly being in a band is like being in 3 different relationships,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I mean, how you guys are all lifelong musicians. How often have you seen it come together as perfectly as it has here? Because we're going to be playing a lot of the album and a couple of your other tracks, and the listeners are going to see what I mean. You guys are a really great band together. And how often does that happen? I mean, and it's under the stars, that you come together like this.
I think it's rare. I mean, I've had a couple bands where I was like, wow, this is really cool. But sometimes it just is something that's the one piece or 2 pieces are just not right, And so
and you said,
go ahead.
Stephen, you said earlier I was going to give it all up. I was going to, no more music, and this brought you back to it, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You guys.
I mean, my basses were kind of collecting dust, and I hadn't played for a while, and but it really, lit a fire under my rear end, and trust me when I say I'm excited, like I was 18 again, I really am.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really great.
Well, describe for me on the West Coast here and for the listeners all around the world what that seems like there, the music scene in Boston and in Massachusetts. Can you put that into words? What that scene is like?
Tough. I'm not gonna lie about that. Original music in this town is getting harder and harder. We're losing so many of our smaller and our mid like indie sized venues, and they're being replaced by Live Nation, big 2,000, 5,000 seat rooms. And getting no local band can get into those rooms because they're all owned by Live Nation or whatever. So even just finding rooms that make sense for you to play in is hard. And I don't know what it's like on the West Coast, but here tribute bands are huge. Their sellout shows, they'll sell out 2,000 seat arenas, and you get a really great local band and you're struggling to put 200 people in the room, So I think the what people are looking for in music right now is a little hard here. But you know, I've gone to some shows lately where there's been a great mix of bands on stage, and the people that are there, you know, fill the room and are really enthusiastic about it. But for me personally, it's been a little tough to watch, especially seeing all the smaller rooms disappear, you know.
That's sad. What's your favorite room size to play? Is there a, a head 200, 150, 100? Is there a size that you guys like that feels right?
5 or 10. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean,
Tables and
5 or
chairs.
10. Okay.
we sold out a room, I don't know, in February, and it was what, maybe a little over 100 people there, that was packed. And as long as there's, you know, as long as there's no room for people to move in the room, that's the size I like. Whether
Well,
it's
just
20.
because you brought it up about the small venues that are supporting local and small artists like you, that are, in the area that you like to play at their venues, could you mention, do you want to give them a couple promos, a couple of plugs of
Yeah.
places that are really great to hear live music if I'm out there?
So we have a couple that are actually just outside the city. One called the Fallout Shelter in a town called Norwood, and they're great because they live stream everything, and they set up a professional camera and audio feed, do a beautiful job of really filming everything. Another room called the Magic Room, which is also in that same town of Norwood, and they're struggling to stay open right now, but hopefully they will. We also have the new club that we're playing up north of Boston called Koto, which is a brand new club that's opened. I don't know. The Burren in Somerville, which is a great smaller club. I'd say maybe 100 capacity in there, but I was just there on Saturday night and had a blast Friday night. I don't know. You guys have any?
Yeah, there's not a lot to
Same.
pick from these days.
Yeah. Well,
True.
it's nice to point them out though, if they're taking care of the artists and the music, because that's what it's all about, to keep the music alive and keep new bands, have a venue for people to come and not only come and enjoy the music and learn and get turned on to a new band, but to hear, people that have been performing there for years and still be able to go out and see and hear them. And
Yeah.
so,
I think
okay, go ahead.
I think if you talk to any Boston artist, though, especially going back as far as the 80s, right, that the music scene has always been tough in Boston and really hard to break into the business. And to see some of those great, amazing clubs to just kind of vanish is,
Yeah.
sad. But, the clubs that are keeping things going is great. And so we're always looking for new places.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's take our first break, and we're going to listen to some music when we do that. But before we go, I wanted to just give out, read off something here. Cat Wilson of Cheap Seats on Ocean 104.7 FM says of Jennifer's lyrics, they're earnest, they're delivered with both power and grace. Where some singers are compared to wine or whiskey, Jennifer's voice is like a deep cordial that needs to be savored sip by sip. Her style has an edge that has not gone dull over the years, and her newest songs are standouts in both in Boston and the Boston music scene. That's just an incredible quote there. I love it. Jennifer Tefft and The Strange, they're my special guest today. I'd like you to go to jennifertefft.com, and there's 2 F's in Tefft. We're featuring the new single by Jennifer Tefft and The Strange. It's called Caffeine, and we're going to play it in its entirety at the end of the interview, so don't go anywhere. Look for Jennifer Teff's new single dropping in April. It's called Going Out. Her new album is titled Strange Beginnings. It's released on May 17th, so mark it. You guys are on Bandcamp, right? So they can probably pre-order it or save it.
Yeah, not yet, but they'll be able to pre-save it. Yeah.
Okay, well, don't forget, it's May 17th. I'm going to remind you. And there's a release party at Koto in Lowell, Massachusetts on June 14th. If you're in the area, definitely check out that show. She's been newly signed to Rock Garden Records with her band, The Strange, and the New England Music Awards 2021 Female Performer of the Year. She's fired up, energizing presence who creates earthy music from its roots and breathes fresh rock and roll into them. And her music combines kick and rock songs with melancholy textures and vocals that wind easily from ethereal to outspoken. It's Jennifer Tefft The Strange, and we will be right back. But before we go, I'm going to tell you what you're going to be listening to here. Better Days is the first track up. Anything you guys want to say about Better Days?
I wrote Better Days right after the world shut down for COVID. It was kind of a song about, finally kind of feeling like I was just about to get over that hump and make some progress with my various projects. And then, whoop, everything just fell apart.
Wasn't that sad? It was it's like the rug was pulled out from underneath you, right? I mean, how do you live too as a musician who performs all the time, all of you? And then it's just gone. There's no live audiences. I mean, that must just be
Yeah, it was
so
hard.
scary and so hard.
Yeah, I mean,
All
that's how
right.
that's my only job at the time was music, and I teach family music classes too. So everything depended on people being in the same room together, and I wasn't able to do any of it. So it was definitely a scary time.
How happy were you though when you first stepped back on stage after for your first performance after all that?
Yeah, it's pretty
What was
great.
that like? Great,
People were
yeah.
really psyched to be out and just to be there and to, everyone was masked up and everything, but we were all in the same room and, I think people were really excited. It was kind of a cool time then when everything started to come back online.
Are you still feeling that energy when you go out on and perform? Is it still
Um,
that level or is it tapered off a little?
I think, the novelty of people being able to get back out again has worn off. People like to be home.
Mhm.
But I mean, the last show we played was, I mean, everybody was fired up and psyched to be there. So it was, hopefully we can capture that energy and keep it moving along.
Yeah. Well, here it is. Better Days. Enjoy. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're with Jennifer Tefft and The Strange. We'll be right back.